NIE adi Ministry of Education un raawagin Koreak ginda webinar series an horiya beflona marhaba. Me webinar series ke first wana adad me mawluwaki teachers as researchers algonda Mariam Nihaza ekkon team panelistum me webinar ka eba pairwe lavva algonda me webinar Koreak ginda kudakon kiyal dena me webinar ga pairwe lavva team panelistum komme beflako 30 minute 15 minute ke presentation hushara devwane komme panelisten e beflage hushara din muge koren alogando komme beflage tarafen tibefuna arwa devwana. Since there are expected teachers joining us, this session will be conducted bilingually. Then algon men kude irukole terega poll tayar kola tibefluna kurmati korana e poll ge maqsadaki algon menge adu tibefuna libeto check kollo egotom poll ga inani suwalaki algon menge adu libeto ehme poll ga algon menge adu libenama tibeflo yes jassawani adu no libenama no jassawani geto mehar tibefuna poll feni wada gannawani. algonga adu libenama yes jassawani adu nulibenama no jassawani geto ade poll ka natija balalaru gina befuna algondu adu e balibe ingeto adu nulibe befulon haddawan vi goteki e befulon webinar jemon disconnect wefa alun rejoin kollawan vi ingeto alun disconnect welafa rejoin kollawan vi eron algondu menna kuriya genda faseha wani ingeto hema ekan kollamata algondu men kuda wagutu kole tibe funa dena alon miga adu saaf kon nulibenama disconnect kollafa alon join welawa ingeto algondo chat ga ves egota ishara kollana adden algondu Korea daanengeto furtam presentation aykko geto ade algondu furtameno algon menna presentation me hoshalal devani Dr. Amnat Shafia Adam geto algondu Dr. Amnat Shafia Adam ge kur tarafe tibefuna arwana Dr. Amnat Shafia Adam ki dive rajya ke Government University ke assistant professor ge magam ada kurawa befle mehar kurawa masekkata hoge terega mudaris tamrin kurma post graduate darwarun supervise kurma research project beletun himene Dr. Shafi avani gaumi adi bainala gwami project ka harakat terfa megoto knowledge and innovation exchange adi UNDP Maldives himene Dr. Shafi ki mudarisum eduga innovation adi ebbarlun Korea gendiuma digital technology benu kurma wakalat kora farate adi gaumi framework ga duniyage framework ga peer reviewed journals adi lium ga journals al-lium ga paper review korum ga harakat terwa befle vesme ada Dr. Shafi Adam ga presentation aikon Korea wada gannawa algon men arwani 10 minute 15 minute ade medu agute ingeta waguta kame hitu hadmakko arwa
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everybody. Arun presentation gendani ane dive hibahum dem baifaru komme soraka English ekamaku ane horiha slides ane dive fohnani English ngeto فرتما سأنا هوريها بفرم بس صحة سلامة تبيكم وربنا أميد كرام أنا أفهمه مي كوفيد نوركا تري بالين هوريها من سلامة تبيم هوريها من بس أنا එකම් ಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದು ಫೋನ್ ಆಗತ
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿ ಅಳುಗಂಡು ಅದಿ ಮಿನಿಟ್ ಸಿಕೊಂತು ದೆವ್ವಬ ಇಂಗೆತ ಮೇ ಅಣೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಕುರಿಯದಾರ ಎವ್ವೆಸ್ ಪೇಫ್ಲಕ್ ಸುವಾದೆನ್ ಒತಿಯ ಚೆಟ್ಗ ಲಿವ್ವುಂ ಎದೆ ಇಂಗೆತ ಅಳುಗಂಡು ಮೆ ಮಿ ಸೆಷನ್ ನ ಫೌ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಪೆನಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಅದೆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ನೆ ದಾಣೆವಾ ಕಳುಗಂಡು ದಣ್ಣವಾಲ ಹಂದಾಣೆ ತುಣಿ ಹೆವಿಮ ವರಬುಡ ಮಾಫಂ ಎದೆನ್ ಎವಾಹಕ ಮಿ ಶಾಫಿಯಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಗೆ ತೆರೆನ್ ದಣ್ಣವಾಲನ್ ಜೆಹೋಣಿ ಇಂಗೆತ ಎವಿಮ ಎವ್ವೆಸ್ ಸುವಾಲೆನ್ ಒತಿಯಾ ತಿಬೇಫ್ಲುನ್ ಚೆಟ್ಗ ಲಿವ್ವಾಲ ದೆವ್ವಾತಿ ಅದಿ ಪೆನಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ತೆರೆವಿಸ್ ತಿಬೇಫ್ಲುನ ಫುರ್ಸತು ಲಿಬೇನ್ ಇಂಗೆತ ಸುವಾಲ್ ಹುಷಾಯಳುಮ ಸಾರಿ ಇಂಗೆತ ಶಾಫಿಯಾ ಕುರಿಯ ಗೆಂದವ
that's all right yeah ar magan gottega ane algonge wahaka mi amas kollani reflective practice noniyam teacher researcher ekko reflective practice gendane goy खासको रिफ्लेक्टिव प्रैक्टिस के में मुहिम एलिमेंट कमावा रिफ्लेक्टिव थिंकिंग प्रैक्टिकली की न तो गेंदाणी एमे में वाहक तेरें गायरुगा तिबे फुलुंगे सुवालें गन्ना हम देमेगा निहाजे विदाळवे hen लियुगम गेंदाम मिंगे तो अने මෙවගුත් කොල අරගොන් මේ ખાસ කොල්ලනේ මිහාර මේ දක්කාලා බස්තා තිබේ ෆ්‍රම් බල්ලවල්ලව මේ මිතාංග මිෆෙන්න ආර්ගේ ලෆුස් තන් අස්තුමියදුගේ මෑගන් මෝලු වරබොඩ මේ ගුලිගෙන් දනි ආර්ථකක ඒ රිෆ්ලෙක්ෂන් ෆැෂනි ආර කුරුන් එහෙම මාළුගන්ගේ මුලි වාහකවස් ගුලිගෙන් දානි ආර කුරුන් ෆැෂේ ලෆුස් තක ඉංග්‍රීසි බහුන් ආර කුරුන් ෆැෂේ වරග්ගින ලෆුස් තන් හොන්නානේ రీ ලාෆියම් రీ මානේ කි අලුන් කුරුන් එහෙම රිෆ්ලෙක්ෂන් කි වරබොඩ අලුන් නුවත දෙව කමේ දෙවන පහර එහෙන් ගොතකන් ඔන්නගේ බලාලුන් කහලා කමේ එහෙම මේ ලෆුස් තක ගොලේ ගොතුන් කොම්මේ බෙෆලක් වසම හිතන් අන්න කොමස් එල්ලෆ්ස් නගා හිතන් අන්න ජුම්ලයි චේටුග ලිව්වාලෙවි මල්ගොන් කොමස් වරක බලාලුන් දාන यागन कार्बन देनंग एम मिनट वरु निकमा हेद कोल्लंग एफो कार्बन हम अने वाहक कुरिया गेंदाण इंगे तो मिन कोम्मे लफ्ज देंगे वेस मसलेने बाय बेफुल मी हार लिवम फटका वाफी अने recollecting remembering revising rethinking restating redirecting reaffirming reflecting reviewing reworking reacting reassuring reworking, reimagining, researching, recognizing, revisiting, recalling, and many other you would find probably. So just so some are already I can see some have given not yet. Could you please write down one or two one sentence would be fine. Those who are Those who are our foreign teachers, what I was saying, you can just write one sentence using one of the words given on the screen. And that would be really good to see how your thoughts are, because I'm just trying to collect your thoughts. Reflection ge varam muhimmu kamen asluga sikundiga honna basta nuniya sikundiga honna kantatta hodalu. Ekam sikundiga honna kantatta hodeni e revisit kogge. Revisit kuru mikiyani අලුන් අඹුරා කුඩකො ජෙහිලාෂේ ස්ටෙප් බෑක් එහෙම වීම ඒයි වරම් මුහිම්ම කමේ අනේ රිෆ්ලෙක්ෂන් ගා අලුන් අස්ලුගා අනේ තිබෙෆුලුන් ජුම්ලා නුලියුවි නමවස් අලුගන් හැම බය ජුම්ලත නෝනියා බය වාහකත මියා ගුලේ ගොතුන් අනේ හැම ඉෂාරයක් කරමුන් දානම් අදි හැම හොරියා බෙෆුලුන් මෙස් මිලියුවනි අනේ සලං හාය අනේ කොමකෝ එබ්ස් ජුම්ලා වාකි ලෆ්සකා ගුලේ ගොතුන් අලුගන් කන්නු ෆෙනේ නේතෝ අනේ දැන් එහෙම වීම මිහාරුගේ වගුතුකොළ අල්ගොන්ගේ එම් මිනිටු හේද වෙජ්ජ එහෙම අල්ගොන් ජෙහිලානන් දෙන් ඔය ස්ලයිඩ් ඉංගෙතෝ අනේ හගීගතුග දෙම්මෙ මි දක්කාලි අනේ ස්ලයිඩ් ග හුරි බස්තකි වර බොඩ ටීචර් රිසර්චර් නෝනියාමු අනේ ටීචර් රිසර්ච් ග පුරන් ජෙහෙ මසෙක්කතා ખાસકો ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි එමිහා නෝනියා මුදරිසකු ඉන්වෝල්ව් වානේ නුවනේ බෑවරි වෙගෙන් පුරානේ කන්තත්තකා වර බොඩ අනේ ගුලිගෙන්දේ मिसालक टीचर रिसर्च गा कुरंजे कमिंग ए डाटा कलेक्शन गे एकमकु टीचर रिसर्च वेज्जे वर बोडंग अन्नाने रिकलेक्टिंग माने की एक्कुरा एच्चेंग अलु अनेक्कावस इतुरंग एच्चितके रिकलेक्ट कुराने हम एहेम रिमेंबरिंग वस वर बोड दवरिंग अदा कुराने बिकॉज़ टीचर रिसर्च गा एना ए हदम बेनुवा रिसर्च का गुले एच्चितके आने नूनिया होदंजे मालूमात का गुले एकी एच्ची हंदां कुराने हम रिवाइज कुराने रीस्टेट कुराने हमें मवार बोर्ड टीचर रिसर्च के eki kantata guligenda basteke adugan mi dakkala fa mihiri then teacher research ki ko ba he sawal kuranyamu ege emme kuru ejjumna imbunanya bunani ei asluga emihaku kura masakkataka gule action masakkate ane display kurana nuniya share kurana echitake hodu hagigatuga simply ei maneki emiheke masakkata gule gotun ene hodun echen ehem mihunna dakkalu e hodunma mi kiyani asuga researching ehme teacher research ki waraboda action oriented maneki sida amali kantataka gule kameke ekkotike se hame kan sikundi terega hinga khiyal takenno nuniya internet on search kolla echvesno waraboda mihage ane classroom adi mihage professional masakkata guligenda nuni kiyawa dinuma honna horiha stakeholders no the students parents leading teachers classroom teaching and learning mi horiha kamaka waraboda guligenda kantataka involve masakkate then teacher research ki insider maneki aharenge amilla masakke insider maneki aharenge amilla profession ahareng amille kura masakkata gule gotun dirasa kuro teacher research ki asloga emihege practice abehe gotun emiha kiyawa dinuma abehe gotun hadache then research ki abadwe systematically planned maana mi kurani wakikahala gavadakum wakikahala step take follow kuramu wakikahala gotaka wakikahala design e farma kurevin adi hama ege tereng kureve masakkate ke teacher research ki then teacher research ki astu hagigatuga duniyaga waraggi gina gomta hoga ane gag ganaka komme teacher quest kommes kahala teacher research ge involve fonnan jehane ei teacher registration renew kureveni enage masakkatuge display nota showcase kurana echen oejia ehme asluga algon men waraboda mihar mudarisum visnan jehen algon menge tereves muti teacher research teacher registration introduce kuravifa teacher research ang ahulveri wegen reflective practice ang ahulveri wegen noniyam hagigatuga teacher registration renew kuram mundaguwan hamai kani certificate ka experience aharta keddakken kurahunu kantattake showcase kuran jehene ehen noniyam teacher registration body akun eti approve ennu kura ehme mikala kanta waraboda wadigen daane teacher registration ehme mikala form tawga asu practically visnam kinetto algon research adane ane emme furatama teacher research guys adi reflective practice guys mi dekantaw guys emme muhimme ekkame gotuga mihimani mi obbodu law irukolaku lappala fanamwes timanna misalaka reflect kuran daskurun reflect kurmaki asluga ane kiyawagen daskura echenno ekamako ei algun menge hama ane sikundi ga hunna ability e kankama reflect kurun misalaka tibefulun lo marwalawa fa miharha mihinnu shafiya mindi lo maragen balali malgunge khiyalan hama irkolak heda kolla fiya fennani baawre chittake algunge visible eyes nu fenna visible eyes manaki mi kurimati mihere echisa nu fenna ege beenumaki asluga thoughts back visnu fahata visnalu ege ehem beenumaki details tan hodalu ege ehem beenumaki kankan realize some never ginam buneve echengei do you really know what you know ingresi bahum buna eche do you know what you know what you are saying do you realize what you are saying niti waraboda annane reflection tereng ehem vima asluga mi heda kolleve minute nuniya 2 minute gag ganaka sekundiya mide wagutu kolaki just go back and step back and then think back and reimagine what's going to happen reflection ki mikalache reflection ki basically brain in action manaki visnu action naka badal kura echke reflection ki algonge mislide nimma dem mi dakkalani reflectioning fenda misalaka can you just take a selfie I'm very sure many of you are taking selfie this is one of the selfies that I have taken recently and me selfie ga ganaka mi fennani how many different images do you see in the reflection and I could count from my screen 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 that and apart from the me phone hifatala I mean the sticky holder and me nula ekamaku me phone hifatala in a holder and fenna images no manaki asluga danna molechiki reflect kurima you find more details sometimes blind spots argumen kiyani aamuloluge range nuwanna area by far boon umbrella for balanje tantan reflect kurima fennane oversight kurai for honnachi reflect kurima fennane. You get more details when you reflect on something and overlook to for honna noni kudakon ignore kollai fa habodan alanu lei for honna achievers waraboda fennane reflect kurima ehme asluga and reflective practice ki the main ingredient no the most important thing naki mibunahen reflect kurume ane reflective practice se rangala ka nugen devane rangala reflective kuranyam reflection naki nonia ane reflective thinking naki wara deliberate action ne deliberate what I meant by is ei gastuga timanna waki kamaka waki maqsadaka waki echitake waki gotaka mi huriha kamaka visnam wegen kura kame egaterega think about your own practice. One of the example you could find out misalaka hadangule research kanunia denumma mauluma thing hoda you think about the student learning, think about your students parents and how they are involvement with them, think about the school system, think about your classroom, think about the curriculum and its implementation. What challenges do you find? What challenges did you have or did you already overcome? What specific teaching and learning approaches do work for you? And what anything related to your students, anything related to your learning, you can always have a deliberate thinking, intentional thinking about what is happening.
Dr. Shah, adhiya minute hinge to baki first minute.
Okay. Misalaka COVID situation ga how does that impact to your student learning? Me astuga algon me visnanje vara muhimu reflective thinking suwatake algon ge 6 araki meduge asluga ane heroes of my presentation emme pratama reflective thinking me react kurashe observe kurashe kamaka gulaibato. How will I decide what area of my practice I'm going to improve? React kurvaki noticing something and observing something and then therefore recording algon yani document kuro algon me yani data collect algon me yani algon kuram benuma dirasaya benuma maulumat tam hodo documenting ge me process daga waraboda anime sali alwalwane ehem mema e ge ituru then recording of reviewing ekkura nechi rangala belu review kuro miga hori kon echi itaketto hagigatuga research process vejja this is like analysis and efaga them yonani revising andar waraboda confirm your patterns misalaka mevani gotaka ane adapt kurane change kurane goittaken hodu waraboda literature university ane adi ane advice devani kala mi hunnaves wahaka dakkala vidana ehmema you try to bring a change based on your review, based on your documentation, based on what you have gone through when you were observing the things. And first one stage ga reflective thinking, reworking the munani waraboda action. You've confirmed okay this perhaps might work. Ehmema then eti action again dani. A teacher research ga wara muhimma kame hoda ichi takegga ekinato amal kuraveni belo. Emme fahu stage ka munani reassuring. ane nonia reassessing ekam vi goi rangaluto ekam kuravunu goi rangaliyam egen vi faida taka kiko bato ege sababun ane timanage practice nga badala kiko bato niga waram muhimmo kamen asluga meeti showcase kurun after you reassess what you have done. Basically mi huriha stage ekka mi ekko levni reflective practice ka denu kurane 5 elements emme pratama react kurani then echi ekkurani efoga rework kuran mane ki how am I going to change anything efoga revise of patterns take noni kanta kurani goten hodan rework in efoga misalaka gene vidane change ka then emme fahuga action ekan kurunu going assess kurani ehme mi astuga mistakalam benuma wahakage empty fonwalam benuma message ki reflective practice ki eggota kavves dasko e hitudasko sikundiga definition teken harlawa echenune rather something you do it. So reflective practice is not something that you learn about and keep stored in a corner. Rather, it is something that you do in your own practice. I hope that I really manage my time, and that's the end of my presentation. If you have any question, please make sure keep them written on the chat space. I will definitely answer them when our discussion is going on. All right? I'm done here. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Shafia. Hama time wara rangala manage kuravva fingeto. Rabbar shukriya. In her presentation, she shed light on the importance and the benefits of reflection and the process of reflective thinking. Since we are getting a lot of requests from the participants to use English more often, I would like to request the rest of the panelists to speak in English more often during the presentations, please. Next is our second panelist, Miss Arnit Ali. Alugandu Arnit Ali ge kuda tarafeng aruanam presentation ge kori alfaila Arnit Ali ki miwagut edit Cowan University ga manhajai kudis school taw ge dairan PhD talim hasil kuram genda farate dirasa kurma shawgara farate kamwa Arnit Ali wani deha sadwana har National Institute of Education na goliwadage research and development ge head kan kurawafa NIE masake kurevi duaswar Arnit wani gaumi femwarga tafat school tawga action research ge workshop tahinga school tawga harakatterwa fanni mozafunge medga dirasa kurumge sagafate ashagennamge masake kurawafa adi teachers as reflective practitioners and action researchers ke namga mudarrisunge ammati foteves Arnit wani ekulawalafa Arnit presentation again korea wada gannawa 10 minute 15 minute ade medga waguten alugada arwana geto
Shukriya Nihal. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of you. Me MF Rutamahama Alvarez NIE me Alvada me Fursat Devi Kamataka Boda Shukur Dandavang Adi me webinar Gabriha Baveri Navis Parahod Marha Dandavang me Fursatga Alvando ge presentation ge terega Tibefruna we have a bodang action research nuni teacher research ke process mundu saraka highlight kolla deveto balana fanara minute ge wagutpolaki warak kuda wagutpolen adi hasako dirasa ge baba ege ni in detail ko kiyaden vejja kama wanyamu e ma bodakange bataken we gende vene henna mesti befuna hama classroom research e gende vene ege basic idea mi wagutpol terega gende veto warak boda balana eme furtama mi tibefuna mi har screen si fenwadanwane action research nuni action research nuni teacher research mi terminology ki interchangeably waragina paharo mi gota benum kureve mi terminology and action research nuni teacher research ki boda practitioners a focus kogen ane Dr. Shafia ge mi presentation gesti befuna comments kan highlight koda devwa fi kobakan action research ki ya dege by characteristics take mi action research as itself is a tool for improving teacher quality and classroom practice. Ginafaro hama mi scholars nuni dirasa gali gina mi hung action research nuni define it's a kind of an inquiry. Always action research starts with an inquiry that conducts by educators in their own settings. In your own setting, amil own setting, amil own practice advanced kurmataka mi benu kura research action research ki and then improves their student learning. I'm arguing MF Furtama's classroom ka one of our known school me employer ka one of our about the interest nuni kudinga performance nuni kudinga learning improve kurmataka e arguing main intention em komme be flocus la nokme gen dar komme duho ko samakuri ge shafa highlight kuri gota hitan arane meduge timannage me classroom ge learning outcomes ki hawrakato achieve mi ba mi annani amille reflect kuraveni hinhamaje hom me annani at least kudinnan e kiha warakan ekan yani mi hasil vejjeto amille tene ganege ema mi in professional learning the secret of success is actually in teaching is we all want to continue to grow and learn action research ki ege zaatuga way that a tool that provides you to continue to grow and learn by making use of your own experiences. So teaching action research what role does research plays in teachers classroom research by far itangaran kobahe research and hedumge beenumaki classroom terega timanna uleeru ema furtam kam karan tibefna hissa kollanan scholar ge mi quote classrooms that become laboratories are better in classrooms miga mane ki mi around student misalka works in action, if they are learning through actions, they learn better. So you all will accept what this means, right? Me factor ki waragina be from hama gabul ko for me dirasata ku liga waragina for wahaka deke for the me itura me quote in the John 2005 me explain for the research is not effective if it is perceived by teachers as an edict that is passed down from researchers to practicing educators, but is much more effective when it is constructed with personal relevance. Me ar misalaka me algon bibrani team be for carry research and hada as a meeting me classroom ke tere genda ever bada amilla own relevance ke genda research kama beja amilla eba ege effectiveness boda badaga neve ega mane ki hema by things by doing is more effective than by bringing something from someone else. Action research, you yourself know what you have been experienced in the classroom. Action research, in other words, we can say it's like picking up threads suggested in academic circles. Solutions, the resources, classroom classroom and weave them in their own classroom. When you bring it, that change, you are going to check it yourself. You reflect back what you have been doing it. So this is actually what research or teacher research or action research tells you to do in your classroom. Then moving to the process of carrying out research. How to do action research in your classroom. Action research begins with question. Traditional researchers are action research ke tafata ki komisaraka shafiaga highlight kolla the traditional research the purpose of research is to develop theories and discover generalized principles. Action research to improve practice. We don't generalize and bring those principles, but rather we improve our own practice. Then researchers are like, as Shafia also mentioned, in action research, the researchers are insiders. You are the one who's being used. Research is conducted, and traditional research can be conducted by outside experts. Then action research, researcher is the agent or subjective. So you are not the objective. You are the agent of change. And traditional research, researcher can be detached or removed or unbiased. So this is basically the difference between the traditional research and action research. Educational change mostly in traditional research community top down. Expert bring those changes. I think a high level me angani then tibi research the dashuga tibi mudarisuna then mi kuriya genda ege badal action research ki a change occur from bottom up, like more on a democratic process. Then moving into the research process. Furatama kamaka action research ga mi andan jehani inquiry form kono. Ekama normal research ga we just read on the literature and find it. Ema query yakum research fashagan na menjeni. Emme bodo kamaka ginafaru nuni ane teachers nuni researchers emme undagu challenge kamani rangalu query form kono. So this is jumping the hurdle of framing a rangalu action research question. How to make a better meaningful action research question. So I will bring you, there are a lot of frameworks that can used for framing up the research question, but a common approach, which is ice cream cone model. Kya model? Me model ke namung itself, you can remember easily how you can carry the research. Me cone na ki aslo me ice cream cone model la ki Maslow's 5 levels of hierarchy inspire again me hadafa in me model ge furatama main IC main research focus. So and then it is divided into 4 other aspects of that misalaka furatama kamaka research ga me action research question ga innamane naga action. For example, let's say if you break down this furatama kamaka area and researcher bes nuni teacher bes classroom banama faw innan kanege amille mi commerce area timanna itura hardana koram beenu ba misalakat mi kombeduk was mi reflective notes take liya kama banyaman kombeduk improve koram beenu ba nuni lesson ege terega an ideas take honna ek areas ta misalaka mi ai let's take assessment for learning or behavior management nagafa furatama mi isin ge bayaki mi aslu Minagani main area, then we are dividing that or focusing or narrowing that down into a specific part. We are behavior management. Let's take aggression, for example, physical, and then we dimana part the migenna the impact of it. Misalaka impact clear a student learn in how this learning can be improved. So effective short-term strategies. This is the action that it takes. Then egaterega suwalugai bandanje subject area nuni a topic or lesson kon tanegato a site ebadenje indoor to kon subjected to outdoor to then ega fahamiyanani foundation ega fahamiyanani like who is the action research focus, the focus part, is it girls, boys, or a specific year group? Then ega fahamiyanani question stem, which, why, how. Amako action research questions takuga in-depth research amille balati gina paharu menani commonly we use like why, how, and what, which these stems are used. So the example, for example, if we are formulating as a research question, you can see, you can break down this and then you can like phrase it, which short-term strategies are most effective in managing the physical aggression of foundation stage kids during indoor provision. Ema rangalu dirasa inquiry ege innane mihuriha maulumatatake ege terega naga action a teacher naga action in defa ege terega mi kudinnaka kam focus kurani site in defa huriha details enge baade inquiry form kurar then adi hadidani query form kurar misalaka furatama kamaka ni ane teacher unna classroom terega bavar kankan eba kombe duha kiwe
ane 2 minute hinga fingeto baki 1 minute
identify the problem furatama klaha badefa mi balani eki kahala masata misalakan horedan independent reading ndoguwa kujja then amillen ege brainstorm mi kollani several possibilities ekujja misalakan nukiyeveni mi misalakan lack of knowledge, poor study habits, not motivated, lack of support mikala ba then ekfa amillen ekala actions mi yani liani konkala kame koggento mi ara teacher eki kahala gote eki fare practice kuraje eki tafat call the parents every noni alternative reading materials and noni student color reading mi badal kollani ehen tafat various methods takaga then efo mi ema mikahala bavaru ane mi brainstorm koggen you can form a research question. So for example you can come up with a research question, if I make a contract, what will reward students for independent reading when the amount of time they spend? Emma, me got a, you can still do it with the actions. Here are some more examples. For example, what effect does the rocket math program have on student learning? Emma, sualuga balalar mi fendani rocket math program ki meanani intervention. Nama komme cheggeves action research query gevejiyamung innani intervention as then ega tereng ne fennane hama problem har mega problem ki learning of maths back misalaka times table echine hedden what happens to my student behavior engagement in class when I use variety of strategies mi har mega intervention ki use variety of strategies to teach English emma problem ki behavioral engagement emma action research query ega vejjamu innane abadus ege strategy nuni action ennaga. So that is what I want to highlight for when you form the research question. Make sure that the action or intervention is mentioned in your research question, and then also the problem highlights, and also it should include who are the focus group of that research. Now, then research question on inquiry form kurma for, then the next step is you're going to move on the steps of AR. Emme furatama kamaka research kurmituma for make commitment. Research and heduma amilla commitment, the call to inquiry. Now, amilla's whole interest in etiyam research and hadam bara undaguwan. Then therefore a query nuni interest akko then me form kurani research inquiry nuni question. Then therefore a question na jawab hodam we are making sense of experience, data analysis, me balani you are exposed to a multiple of data classroom එක තේරෙ අර බෑවරු resources එපොරි students are on your hand parents are with you school management is with you so all these are a lot of informations that you can gather students hada komme fotuga inna komme masakkataki ei hama me data you can collect all this so based on the research questions you can collect these data and then you need to begin again so always a reflective practice me annani komme farako timanna minegi action naki me em effective action kan nuwajjam den anikas alternate badal me kollani kolla den anikas me improve kurani ehen strategy ehen gos badal kurani em inquiry nuni action research ge query ki abadus me badal mamun daane ecche so this is lessons from your experience based on that you keep on changing of that
ආනෙත් බාකේ දෙමිනට් ගෙත
Emma, make simple steps to make ask, identify problem, collect, analyze, and interpret. Emma, fahu part ga algon highlight kolla dem benwani dirasaya e hadan mihar misalaka emme bodang mudagu wani inafaro you can conduct the method but the thing is to bring it in a document kuran nuni a narrative and nuni write kuran vema dem yannani komme research anga the traditional research obvious the action research obvious teacher research obvious warak ginafaro challenge kavve e purave masekke nuni nage action nen hede kudi dirasata ege document kuru emme muhimmu kamaki document nukura kama banyamu almenge school tak nuni archive nuni ebbes bayakan e maulumat hissa nukura kama banyamu a power of change nuengani you are withholding the information within self if you need to share what you have found out what you have experienced based on your experience and sharing others can gain and learn emma vara muhimmu kame document kurun e document kurume ega mane ki journal laka liyawarga report liumennu teacher you will be a good narrative writers I guess because you keep on having a lot of portfolios student portfolios gengulene daily practice writing gengulene hema these are some basic things that you can begin it emme furatama kamaka alwan suggest kollana teachers aslu to keep
ආනෙත් ගඩි හැම වෙජ්ජෙන්ගේ සවරක් බඩ මාෆ් කරවාති ගඩි හැම වෙජ්ජ අලුගන් rep up කොල්ලන් එම්මිනට් දෙන
එහෙම me fahu baya alon vibunani ane research diaries take gengulation nuni teacher portfolios take gengulation eduge hingadiya clahuga practice reflect kolla fa ege liyalaima ekkala fahun research age terega narratives liyan annairu so you can collect all these a lot of information and data that you can write up on what you have been practicing in the classroom. So as a takeaway note, I just want to leave that champions keep playing until they get right. So you are the champions. You keep on changing and practicing what has been going on in your classrooms. So that's all.
Thank you, Arnett. Thank you, Arnett. In her presentation, she has explained really well what action research is, and she has also explained to us what role research plays in the teacher's classroom. She also took us through how to do action research in the classroom. Next, we have our last panelist for this session. Let me introduce Ms. Diana to you. I'll do the introduction in English this time, okay? As a change, I'm sorry about speaking the way all the time, so as a change, I'll do the introduction in English this time. Ms. Diana has been working as a teacher for the past 5 years, first as a preschool teacher at a private school, and now in a government school as a primary teacher. She completed her MA in education from University of West of England, Bristol, via Villa College. The primary area focused in her thesis was inclusive education and specifically differentiated instruction in the classrooms. She gained in-depth experience in reflecting on the strategies used in the classroom and make decisions that positively influence her teaching during her master's. Diana believes that by incorporating different methods and tools within teaching will help to identify the importance of continuous research and active engagement in reflecting practices can enhance these skills. Now I give the floor to Fatma Diana Adil. You have 10 to 15 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope you can all hear me. Can you all hear me? Please write in the chat whether if you can hear me, okay? Assalamu alaikum. Today I will be talking about reflective teaching practices, and I will be highlighting on mostly my experiences as a teacher, working at primary grades mostly. So I would like to begin with this quote. Without reflection, we go blindly on our way, creating more unintended consequences and failing to achieve anything useful. So even in our lives, I feel like we constantly go through different incidences that we might recall, but then we might not really think about a way to change that situation. So that's why some people are capable of change and some people aren't. So we constantly have to reevaluate every decision that we make in our life to make our lives a bit better. So that applies in teaching as well. So I will be discussing these key areas, specifically how my experience began in making sure that I'm able to reflect, like have reflective practices in my classroom. And then I will talk about how I realized when I should have started reflecting the methods, results, and how effective reflective practices are. So first, I would like to start off by saying, as a novice teacher, you believe that you are capable of doing a lot of things. And when you're studying at a university, you normally have your teaching practicum where you are supposed to go to other schools. And then you have to record what you do every day in a reflective journal. And at least that's what I did. And I felt that this was a really good experience for me, and I was able to learn a lot about the classes that I was teaching. But then as I joined the school after my degree, one of the key challenges that I faced is, even though I had that practice of writing that reflective journal, I did not do that when I joined the school. And then I had the immense pressure of doing well. There were continuous observations that were run by leading teachers or even some other supervisors. And I felt very overwhelmed, especially when I had to deal with other aspects of my life, as well as parents coming with their concerns about their children, the children's progress. I wasn't sure whether if they were really doing well. In the first classroom that I went into at a government school, I felt that I was under such a lot of pressure because the students were a bit older than I expected, and then they talked in like they talked like grown-ups, and I was not used to that. So I had all these challenges piling up, and then I realized I had to go back to what I had learned in my degree, and I had to really make sure I took notes. I highlighted on whatever was going in my class, and then shared it with other people. And to do that, I think going through my studies, something that I realized was it was really important to make sure that I was keeping a journal, that I was writing everything down. So the thing that I would like to say is that to have like a really reflective practice in your classroom, you need to make sure that you are recording everything that you are doing in the classroom. You might actually keep something like a bullet journal, or you might even track the students' progress or whatever is happening in the classroom in your mobile phone. This way, you'll be able to ensure that the students are learning, and also you are developing new skills along the way. And then asking your supervisors to continuously come into your classroom. I feel this is one of the key points that I want to highlight. Sometimes we are really afraid of criticism, and I feel like we are not able to take in criticism really well. But when you are trying to be reflective, it's important to receive criticism from everyone, whether it be your students, parents, other teachers, your supervisors, or even the principal. So you need to continuously ask for feedback, ask teachers to observe your classrooms. And to do this, one of the main ways you can ask them to do this is to just come in your classroom, sit They don't really have to do anything, just observe your class, and at the end of the class, tell you ways that you need to improve yourself. This is actually very critical, and this criticism can actually help you a long way. Okay, because that criticism is what's going to change your mindset, and it's going to develop a growth mindset in you. Because if you don't change what is wrong, I'm not saying that everything you do in the classroom is wrong, but whatever you're doing in the classroom is very important, and it reflects back on the children in your class. So if you are doing something that is not beneficial for the children, it's going to show in the long run. So when you write it down, when you note down the things that you want to change in your classroom, you are going to actually see progress in your students as well. And feedback is very important. So ask for feedback from your lady teachers, even if it doesn't necessarily make you feel good about yourself. It's something that you require for yourself to develop as a really good teacher. Next, again, I would like to highlight on the different methods. So once again, I want to make sure that you understand how important keeping a journal is. So when you keep a journal, what you do is you note down things that might have gone well in your class, as well as things that might not have gone well in your class. So by doing this, what you are actually trying to do is you are going to repeat the things that you have done well in your classes the next time you take a class, and then you are going to avoid doing things that might have had a negative impact on the students or even yourself. So observations does not only have to be done by supervisors or teachers. Your observations can be done by yourself or even your students. And what I mean by saying doing observations by yourself is recording your lessons. You can actually keep a small camera. You can even keep a phone with video recording in your classroom, and you can even record your lessons. And then at the end of the lesson, you can actually observe how well you did, or whether if you need some improvement in the way that you have taught in the class. And then at the end of every week, I'm sure that all the teachers would actually have meetings where they discuss the lessons and they coordinate what they are about to teach during the next week. So when you do that, you can actually mention what you have done in your classroom and what things worked for you and what didn't work for you. And the other teachers will be able to give ideas on how you can improve your lessons, or you can even help them. By actually getting feedback from them, you are able to improve as well as they are able to improve with your feedback. And also students' feedback is so important because students play the biggest role in the classroom next to you, because students are the ones who are going to tell you what you have done wrong. Especially when you're in the classroom and you're taking a lesson, if they don't understand something, they're the first ones to point it out. And sometimes we disregard it since they are smaller than us, but then what they say actually matter the most, because we are trying to cater the lessons in a way that they might find interesting. So I have something here in this picture, start of the week check-in. So at the beginning of the week, you can actually write what your priorities are and what you want to do less or what you want to do more. And then how you want to feel during that week. Whether if you want to have a very positive outlook, it's all up to you. And then if you get stuck, you have to remember ways on which you can go through your journal, think of ways that you can improve yourself or change the lesson in a way that you might feel comfortable. So after I have had experienced this journaling and then actually going through this on a regular basis, especially last year, what I've noticed is that I've had such good constructive criticism from my peers. They tell me what I do wrong, they help me improve my lessons, and they play such a huge role. And I feel like it develops the relationship between your peers, as well as it's an advantage for them, because they are also learning so much by observing your lessons or telling you how you have to improve. And the lessons become more engaging and you become more aware of your own good qualities. Amila miha gagahuna bara rangalu sifata hama follow again reflect koram pettima. Aid in others' lessons through feedback. So teachers can lessons and you can help other teachers by going in their classrooms and giving them positive feedback or negative feedback that they can use in their classes in the future. And also you become a lifelong learner. This is the most important thing. To become a lifelong learner, you have to continuously keep on researching. In the previous presentations, it was mentioned the importance of reflecting and as well as conducting action research. So I feel like by doing these things, you become a lifelong learner that can help you in the long run, and it helps you become a better teacher, a better educator in that specific field that you are working in. So I feel like it's very important for you to reflect back and for you to record what you have done.
Diana, minutes remaining.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so how effective is it? So, especially during preparation, you feel a bit more motivated. You feel like you can do a lot better. Students' academic progress and behavior change vastly because you are able to notice how students improve, and it actually makes you feel better about the way that you teach, and also the students feel that closeness with you, and you improve yourself through this reflection, and the continuous adjustments made in your lesson make each and every lesson a bit better. And then I also notice a positive change in myself, and I am able to have a positive outlook when I enter the classroom, that I am going to do so well with these students today, and I'm going to record every good thing that I've done with these students. And a little progress each day adds up to big results. Lastly, I would like to say we do not learn from experiences, we learn from reflecting on experience. So even though you have gone through several things in your life, or even in your classroom, if we don't reflect on that experience, nothing is going to change and everything is going to stay the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana, for sharing your experience. As one of the participants has mentioned, hearing the voice of a teacher is very important for such a webinar where we are discussing the topic teachers as researchers. Now we'll open the floor to the panelists to discuss some of the questions that we have received from the participants, as well as some of the questions that has arisen during the presentations. Okay, the first question that I have is, why should teachers be researchers? Who would like to answer this question? Why should teachers be researchers?
Can I address that one?
Yes, please.
Okay. Why should teachers be researchers? The very first thing is, by doing research, we are saying that we are improving the practice of the classroom. There are three major purposes of doing research in classroom. One of the thing is building the reflective practitioner. So when you keep on doing this research or keep on reflecting your practices, you are building the reflective practitioner, that practice you are building within you. And then the second one is making progress on school-wide priorities. So when you do this in your classrooms, so that you are actually showing up the different priorities or practices that have been good in your classroom, as well as the challenges you can share with your school or with your leading teachers. Third is building a professional culture, because research is a systematic way of carrying it. If you do your literature or if you carry on these different research process, being an academician or in future, if you want to be a learner or if you want to carry your master's or PhD, without a research, you cannot go. So this is something that if you at the basic level, if you start keeping on, you will become later an expert. So this is, I think, the main reason why the research need to be conducted, because you can reflect back what you have been doing it more on a systematic manner.
Would Dr. Shafia would like to add anything? Your mic is off, Dr. Shafia.
Right, yeah, thank you very much for letting me know. I think, yeah, why do we need to be researchers as teachers as researchers? I think it is very important one of the important thing is you can't remain to do the same every day. I remember one of the very famous scholar, Logran, for example. He has got heaps of publications starting from 2000 up until 2020, and the main argument, is teachers need to really realize learning in their profession. Nige magand wahake ki gunamuleni asluga kiyawa demun dairuga really to be a learner, you yourself, to learn about your practice, really grow with what you are learning, with what you are doing, with what you are going to tell about what you are doing and your success, your challenges, and all that. Need to realize and if you don't do research, you might have them in your head, but who knows actually? If you don't do research, if you don't display or if you don't show that to other people who are in the same audience, like the teachers who, if you don't tell them this is what is happening in my practice, you are not growing. You are just keeping things in your head and you're not getting any outcome of what you are doing in your practice. So teachers, researchers, Vima Asuga knowledge improve. Teaching profession get knowledge, because other people who come to your pool and do research are very different from the people who are doing research as insiders. Insiders maane ki aharmen masakata gule gotun research ade. If you don't do that, you are not learning. So you need to become a learner. You need to become a reflective practitioner. You need to become a researcher. Me tinechaki asuga ehem vegenne asluga teachers, researchers are vanjani.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shafia. Would Diana like to add anything to it?
I actually agree with Dr. Shafia on this one because she highlighted everything that I was about to say as well. Very important points. And I think it's very relevant for teachers to keep track of everything that they're doing and learn through that continuously, because learning is important, especially as teachers, because it keeps on changing every day. Teaching this, actually, this field is very different from other fields. If we don't learn, we're not going to keep up with the students.
Thank you. Okay, a question that has come up repeatedly is, I think, what I mean by research is confusing to some. Can someone please define what we mean by research here? Yes, Dr. Shafia.
Annie can add something. Yeah, I think research, the word itself, research, it is coming from you're searching for something and you do research. As I said, a lot of words related to research and reflective practice starts with RE. So meaning that you are looking for something, yes, but you also researching to understand better. To understand better. You don't know what to know about what is happening. Asluga research heading. Research is simple understanding. Really looking for something to learn. Asluga, you really want to sit in the class. Students get seat in the balashe. How does it feel like? How am I learning? What is happening with my learning? A very famous scholar, Arvan Vara Lobiva, new career researcher, you can't completely ensure learning of the children because it is not visible. It is in their head. If you don't do research, you don't know what approaches really work for that particular learning behavior. Ehemnima asluga research adan chehani. Research mane ki collecting data, analyzing, analyze copper, you look for patterns and then you bring action to what you are going to do in future, in the next lessons perhaps. So asluga research aki and very simple very simple it has got a whole lot of benefits because you will learn what you need to do next and what can be done to change or do differently. Niye asluga research ke muhim mukhamaki. But practical ko visnashe. It's not only about reading the literature, it's rather learning and become reflective about your practice.
Thank you, Dr. Shafia.
Yeah. Can I
Yes,
add something?
Dr. Yes, Anya.
Algano ane fa kodam ben me miaro research as do hedumuge magandu desabe ben onnani yeto prathama kamaki filling a gap. Why we carry out research, there are two main purposes. One is, that means filling a gap in the literature. In the sense, in other words, it means that you are contributing a new knowledge. Research hadagen, you are contributing, you are providing new knowledge to your society or wherever you are. Devana kamaki seeking a reality. Mi dekama amuko research mi hadani. Kamege aslu denagatumataka nuni new knowledge contribute kurumataka. Ema mi vara muhimuka me research kurumaki because we are learning through our experience. We are learning and finding the reality something, what is happening, why something is happening. So that's the reason why we need to carry out research.
Okay, thank you. Anything to add, Diana?
No.
No. Okay, next question is, what are the benefits of research to teachers? I think we have been talking about it. Maybe briefly we can just highlight a few benefits.
Can I
can
this one? Yeah.
Yes.
You can continue and then I'll add to that.
Okay. Me research kurumuge emme muhimu ebbenumaki misalaka me let's look for the professional aspect misalaka the teachers ki abadues commerce level ga academic ko hegga nuni involve kumidani nuni mustaqbal ga academic field ga masekke kuram bedwani research background and nuni seminar presentation mean komme kamaki which adds on your CV, your professional misalaka me master's program and nuni PhD program ka dakamanya if you have a good research background you will be nominated there. Okay, varabodu advantage research kurumuge ebbeno adi besides your classroom practice and about it. This is your own professional learning. Varabodang edwe misalaka if you look for seek a scholarship. First thing, even if you do a PhD, balani kita research presentation hada hurito, kiha varaka research gaterega ulefa hurito. Ema me adi when we are novice learners in research, this is where we need to begin from our classroom because we don't have to go and somewhere to collect data because we are on the data itself. Why don't we use that opportunity to carry out our own practices being research? Learning gaterega vara ginechi take daswange ba fursat libe. Ema me varabodu advantage ke we have ginang as teachers balam venu ek opportunity hodam we ek platform takuga timanne showcase kureveto timannage practice ta misalaka NIE invest de harun enhar me provide kodeni hame teachers baraboda target kogen me international teachers conference mikala check me platform ek ara wahaka dekwagamaki you are adding up on your CV, you are building up on your CV what you have been practice and a platform ge confidence a self confidence milibeni timannayan ekkala dirasa hedumge terega uluma ehem mihuge presentation at least aduwa hagem this vara bawra learning sepa hepande ehma mikala platform taka seek kuran libe vara bodu fursate me research process ge terega uleduma kiwes ehma me vara bodu advantage ke I just want to highlight that.
අරුණ එච්චෙන් කොල්ලන් හමානිගේ වාහකයන් එතෝ benefits terega අලුගණ්ඩන් එම්මේ බොඩ ෆාහ කරවැනි evidence based ko kiyawa deno. I think if you do research you are going with evidence these are the evidence that I have that how am I teaching. If you don't do research you don't have anything visible on your hand. Students ke score ki hame kani evidence of learning neno. You need to know more, further, in depth. Echiga asluga meaning out of it. Echi meaning ta nagani ginafara research. So when you do research as a teacher, you really work with evidence and how your students' involvement with the parents, and based on then what can and how can their learning be improved. When you collect data on it, you have evidence and you know how these things are working for you and how these things are working for your student learning. So aslu bunamulechaki evidence based practice eke henna hori hagigattake ge macha bina kogge kiyawa dinumaki real teaching, not just out of my head you niti work of fun eti work of fun. Yes, it might, but where is the evidence? If you don't do research you don't have that evidence in your hand and you don't have anything to show other people. Actually these are really working and why don't you try them? Nives naanane asluba teachers research nuhadanyam. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to add.
Diana?
Yeah, I was actually trying to mention the fact that most teachers, when they hear the word research, they feel like it's a very complicated thing. But as Miss Anya said, we are already inside the researchers because we are already inside the class. So it's very easy for us to actually collect data if we want to. And this research is going to help future teachers as well, because your experience is what's going to help develop new teachers, right? Because novice teachers require experienced teachers to talk about their experiences so they can learn from it. So I feel like it's actually very beneficial in that manner.
Yes, can I add one more point over there?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Me ege iturabes misalaka me ade den ane data collect kolluma kivara faseyakam anekas emme undagu kamakam miyanna ni ekala me hodi kantatta evidence document kurum erun ta ehem mihekan ekamge hissa kureven nar ginafar teachers miwagati ki oh we all are not language experts, right? It's very difficult for us, like academic writers avu research hada mihebes waran udagu ane writing nun e present kura e me school ki wara bodu pool you have like language teachers there. Why don't you have a participatory research? Hum ekkon hadala classroom ge evidence dosa hissa mi kurani ekala group aka koffa narration ne migota mihiriye timanne fenune chemi haru komme nuje adi mi level ga huri haiche english onnaka amilla bahonges misaka fas emiyaka faseha bahakun e genes dinun ege muhimmage ekama mi document kuru mi wara muhimmu kame e komme school ge se archive kolla otumaki ehen school ka bes negunu a practice nuni evidence based practice fennan onna e අරුන්ගේ තෙරේග මේ ආකයිව් නැතිම අස්තු මියුලනි එකල එබ්බෙස් එච්ච දිරාසය රිෆරන්ස් හොදායර වෙස් ගින පහර බලාදාන එච්චෙන් ඕන එම ස්කූල් වර මුහිමයි
දානියත් අලුකොඬුගේ දෙවනසු ආනේ දෙවන නෝන්ගේ තෝ තියා ගුලික හැබස්සු ආලේ ඉහිනතෝය අලුකොඬ ටීචරුන් එමියුන්ගේ රිසර්ච් ડોකියුමන්ට් කොරානි how can we as teachers document our research?
Yes, ehma mi ar mi document kurume mi ge emme bodu challenge ka mi wani ehma furatama kamaka amilla classroom practice hadairu emme furatama document kuruma argona emme furatama dene ni ane suggestion naki read about a literature geto ekala timage topic area en furatama literature kima ekala mibuna hen dirasan hedum ge aslu gap hodu eves mi fennani komme sarakan ekala kuda ko e literature terega ulelima then literature mi bafaru ami ginafar mivagati ki almenna kan available dennun ege hunna reliable sources take misalaka ekamaku let's say mi aru mi ane rajyega national university ge abadu mi hen dinge bakiya anoni lecturers you get a hold of it ema komme sekala link and you can get like peer reviewed articles for a topic ka ve gutun hodala ane mi literature ge mi anna timba let's say literature liya emme bodu challenge ki misala ka research question ufeduma fa den literature liu emme literature liyan emme bodu ane mi faseha ka bani if you use three things I would suggest. One is first summarize, synthesize and criticize. Mithin by a summary me synthesize and mikurani ekala me buna emmeram kum wahaka dakka furdan misak en agreement akum emiyunge wahaka synthesize ko more than one people kofa me egota wayan ideas ta note kollani ekkala migengule reflective journal nuni your own research diary gossa then language un et liyan udagu kama wanja midenne vihen document kurang emme pase hawani school ge pool gole language teachers takata ekko help welagen timannage findings meaniye ema amille notes liya re draft ko nani ema you all are like at least basic narrative writers ekama ege ekkada vi emme huriha kame rangalu ko faliyam vejja language teachers kolaka ekkon ekko welagen eti document koram pase hewan. So that's what I would like to say.
Would any other panelist
algon beano echen ed kollan eta the miharu me visnu midani practically how are really we going to conduct research in our schools asluga ehem vejja algon hama algon ge advice ki duniyaga warak gina gomtoga teacher research hada ayruga schoolum teacher research and interested me hum denum wa topic ta warak gina fahara area taken highlight kurma for schoolum ehen university bodies taka wahaka dakka emi hunna ekko MOE ta hoga soiko fahore ingeto ane egotal hama ane kudi proposal was hada misalaka language teachers are interested in this particular area is there any research team who are going to be working collaboratively mane ki timanna manayko masekke koggen to make this research work as action research ingeto warak gina fara ekala bay tajribatan aluganda wes libi for horima ama hissa kollam beenume misala kan aluganda dia research project ki what is the benefit of having student data ingeto aluganda men school thaga hore ye baver student data but we really won't make it as a big research project me student data takum then emi holli unhama simple two pages ke proposal phone we algan once ke kuri department angeto phone we algan menge research team e tinni hum bavere wegen broad proposal liuni ekam the action researchers are the school teachers arun danno mulachiki practically it is very very relevant arun menge context guys research hadam benuma research proposal the liam benuma research team the baver university tawga mihare batibe grant was de hama ehen international forum taka was lieve ema school takun rangale those who are really interested in research misalaka timanna wara benume insider research e gota me gota maseke puran this particular area is quite fascinating for me. I really want to go with it. Ehme jiamu research team e gota emi hunna ekko collaborative ko maseke kurima asluga aani vidalwi literature heduma liuma mikantata ki vara complicate maseke for normal teachers in other countries guys ingeto hama not only in our country I have seen this hama vara bavaru ane leg behind ade misalaka hama ane by project tage bor misalaka reflective journals ta lifa hawal kuram bunima vara boda drag of hama misalaka very simple notes sushala hama data collection terege so writing is really difficult for most teachers ekamaku collaborative ko kurar wagotiki you get ekala shoulder nunia back scratch kuran bayak ekko anaka literature kiyanda ekko masek ekko denuni literature gu hunna main arguments understand womga help wede actions design kodde ni collaborative ko kura masek katuga warak gina fahara teachers learn a lot and they grow ehme alugun ge suggestion ki school ge principal alugun daadi phone liunu proposal ki play school method kihenetto school ga gendani preschool ge principal en edigen liunu proposal egem me university grant was libi foti a school government hinga mole project ki tin researchers from the MNU ga hama baver andanani migutam hushala ashe this is something I am interested in and is there any group of people who are going to work with us ehen hoshele wagot ki you work as a team and that adds a lot to the knowledge algon menge masakatawas algon profession nawas algon menge kiyawa dinu improve puran algon students at the end emi hunge learning improve puran help wede emani algon ge suggestion ki teacher research hada iruga university body ya kaiko noni research body ya kaiko masiki kurunge and MOU and noni ekala understanding a build kuda ashe ingeto
okay one more question how can teachers share their research findings
ani
you
conference ke waha kache
research findings share kurani keening heyede to there are many ways that you can share your research emme furatama kamaka let's go from the school level emme furatama kamaka classroom ga efenunu hodum emme furatama kamaka share kurani you have lot of like coordination meetings I think you have great coordination meetings you have all this with your leading teacher with your principal staff meeting at least this is something that you have come across a new knowledge that you come across with your students emme furatama etha hissa kurani that is one platform that you can share it then from school level the accept kurima there is NIE is a professional body where all teachers and network build kurangi NIE hissa kurevidana curriculum base ko miharu mihiri timanna menna fenunu baavaru mikal kami not only the good things the challenges that you come across mehara staff room ge terega tibege misalaka miyani curriculum ge miyani baab odeke adi ehem bunyakas action and nanani if you show as I said like with written documents this is what you have confront and these are the challenges you had all these are noted and written And if you share it with NIE, the professionals there will work on what you have been practicing. Ekkala evidence based ko hoda deni practice terega timanna menna mi. Ekam ega badal ga misala ka staff room ge tere te group ek hama misala ka mi timanna menna mi hem hen dekkes ehi sabun eti gelli genda. Hema mikala platform ta kuda share kurang eba furatama fasha ganna she school level ga then after that school ga hama leading nuni management awaha ka dakka timanna men beenum ve miti misala ka NIE hissa kollade. Then NIE eba adeharun enga har eba baba e platform ta nuni ege itura NIE hama mi NIE ge website ge wes komme school kan mi teacher network build kurang mi provide kodde vidana misala kan hissa kura bay kudi dirasata mi Google sharing medwari kovves misala ka website ga lapa e school kan hodonu a kame mi muli NIE website ga share kodde me hen school abbes ege beenun eba hife ehma mi hama hissa kurevena platform then individually misala kan mi showcase kuram beenun be kamajjamu ama wara gina paru mi haru rajye ge eki university takuga eki duwaswar conference ta baba mi haru den fiyawa de mi pandemic te terega nas ehma ekahala abadwes as a professional you have to seek these opportunities furatama kamaki adi mi confidence mulibidane was conference ek present kolla hennama wes ege observer ge gotga baveri wegen kinakkan ehen mi hum mi ge terega baveri nuni question and answer session ge terega baveri you get lot of ideas. Then if next conference nuni then ganna conference you can showcase your even in the pilot study can a concept paper ge gotalli lapes you can hissa korevidan hem success story ge gotga hissa korevidan. So these are platforms that you can share it, I think.
Okay, just one more question. How to get a copy of Anit's handbook? A teacher has asked.
Yeah, I think it can, the NIE can upload it on the site because there are a lot of exercises that you can carry in the school classroom level. So I would suggest with Fuzzy, we'll ask them to upload it there. At the beginning, I actually was planning to get a fund to get more copies of that, but since I need to leave it, I just came without doing that. So I will suggest them to upload it for you to get a copy of that.
And very briefly, okay, since we may not have any enough time, how can there's one question from a participant, how can a particular teacher be part of another person's research?
I think I can answer that one.
Yes, Dr. Safia.
I normally invite many teachers to be part of my research projects. That is one. But just let me know which area that you are interested. I really work with teachers. I'm a big fan of people who are interested in research. So I bring them to my pool, and that is one. It's one option. The other way is like research area one. Interest honna mi hevejiyam you talk with university bodies university ga maseke kurame eme abadwes research grant launch hen kom yahara ko yulan kurane defahar grant defahar kuraru ga research hadam benuwa area teacher untake suggest kurima that would be a really good help and real ane rangalu topic e rajya muhimma ecche kama defarang ebbas wanya e maseke kurar hama research tereng ena bes lagging maseke kurago hore niharu e action research ko ginafara teaching field da hadani action research ga wagote ki participants are researchers participants are co-researchers एक माने कि हम equally principal researcher को maseke kurani हम participant researcher which is the teacher asluga eka live syndication e dikya arun me warabada balam amko school ga hede research maduwima school ge field agula gotun research hede to arugan हम working school taka gulame sama ane teacher una wahaka deka fonnane by research project taga maseke kurang then ane arugan ge fahu wahaka ke miga astuga bonelang wati teacher abadwes washe ane data collect kura paika data collect ko fahurima when you really want make it ekayati data collection mikiyani you make portfolio college abadwes kuding learning na behegotun learning stories that's another tool that you can use you really create those learning stories kuding learning stories the collect ko for bahatashe some really good images that you collect ko for bahatashe Michi was funny teacher because teacher is doing research with her own classroom. Any a consent of a classroom getchi. Then I in case we saw a kuja get photo a college and get with a kuja face and a hide coffer amuko data with a use for an. Ehemejia mihuriha jaring ask mihuriha kame human teacher atuga because teacher is doing research with her own practice and about her own practice. Ehemejia teacher abadus learning stories portfolios collect koramun danyamo GS researcher berum kurevena action research vejjiya misalaka miyaharuga nimuniruga portfolio davar echita huri reflections of student learning echita vara useful echita ken huri you really make it as worth going for a research project and talk to someone who would be interested in it and then do collaborative work algon ge suggestion naki abadu is collect kurashe abadus and a portfolio chi ekkuru mundashe echi ekkuru mundiyama research design ek koppa e misalaka eti itura collect kuran recollect kurun aharu mi kiyani sida echi hame ekana use kurumen ei vedana baseline naka and then you go with more in-depth understanding of what you have seen in the data. But research ki yes you start with a big question ekam atuga hori echi takaka gulago tumes big question ne ufedidan ehemejia you might need to recollect some more data in relation to what you have inge to ei asuga research masakatuga vara bodan argument teacher researchers and encourage kuragote.
Diana, as a teacher, what do you have to say?
As a teacher, I just want to say, just keep on recording what you do in the classroom. Continuously assess what you have done. Share it with the other teachers. Share it with your supervisors. Make sure you bring about a change within your school, so you have something to show for it at the end of the day, that you have made a change. That's what I would like to say.
And some people are saying in the comment that like algon me midakkawa hake kivara useful echika hasuko collect kuramundashe ei asluga e value pennani researching hadam fashima you keep collecting things about your teaching that is part of reflection as well.
Alone it for the benumaniama me baragina teachers kala me got a practice of a classroom by for jehilum share kuram then aruna me varabada benuve aslo kitamme kuda ek challenge ko aragana kuda effort elias aslo e negani there's an achievement for you mihar ema hissa kurashe apadwis ekala happiness timanne kame nuni learning epan we me mihaka hissa kurum varabenu ek malunge school ta ko me wagati ki ebbe ko kura kame anibbayaka barigina fahara ko me hissa no kore ehme me wagati ki ekala eki dimalung eki adutan ivi we don't know where we are heading it aslo ebbe panebbe ko ge practice share kolle venama barabar gina fahara ekala me subject modules ta gonuni subject content ga mi anna dimawa datita hallu kuram furusata dibe ehme me aslo teacher research ke boda me evidence ko genda kama wanya almenna ka jehil menwane ebbe panebbe ka me hissa kolla you have with the evidence with you so you are not eba me kala platform ta ko ge ba hissa kolla wen jehe ehma teacher network at least school ga teacher unge effort me ar belen verin nevis gina fahara mi wagati ki almenna ka portray nukureve almenge effort classroom terege dekke misalaka purata mahar feshedu kudin at least misalaka foundation stage udimigen grade 1 la dairu kudin annani varabada handane tige misalaka liyankiyan nuni numeracy literacy nuni mathematics kami contents paper ya di fanneru ahar fesheru handane tkone teacher ge varabada effort akun eba kuriya gende term nime iru mihuri habe cover kore ekam enuhure document kore fakiha warka misalaka pencil grip naga fratama duhu kujja fansuri fa why don't you take a picture of you have your phone with you ema me kala narratives ko the picture narratives as you can carry out in your classrooms me gota gos me ama compile kollagen these are all data you have it you just need it just a simple story to write it on based on ega mane ki bod journal la ka document tayar kurume nune at teacher level you can do this because picture stories your small narrative stories your success stories showcase kore vidane tafatu goittaka these are what we call teacher research it is not about publishing a journal okay so this is where you start it as a novice researchers okay this is what I want to highlight it please do share it what you have been practicing.
Okay, thank you, panelists, for the very informative session.
minute and wait
Thank you for the
Okay, vara short konga to Dr. Shafia.
And danna amule ki teacher research ki wala collaborative ko kura masekate the teacher ke evegen algun hedi masekate ga critical friend kiya paper kiyane sarun publish kuri paper kiyani some critical friend mane ki like diana share korevi by misal tawga teacher unna klahan invite kura ashe just observe us ei asuga critical friend ane approach ki ए देमीहुं वेगिन देमीहुंगे कियावादिनु इंप्रूव करन रिसर्च है मी अस वारा फसी हकम स्कूल बकोरा दियाना प्रैक्टिकल मिसाल देवा फती मारन हितेरी हम ए वारा इम कामेक का हम हंडांग कोले दे हुनी हा टीचर नि हा बोर्ड फोरम एक निम्माला फदायरो क्रिटिकल फ्रेंड एंग इख्तियार कुराशे हम
ಅದೇ ಎನ್ಐಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಎಡ್ಯುಕೇಶನ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಳ್ಗೊಂಡ್ ವರ ಕೂಡ ಪೆಡಲಿಸ್ಟನ್ನ ಶುಕ್ರ ಅದಾ ಕುರಂತ ಇದೇವಿ ವಗುತುಕೊಳಂಗೆ ತೋ ವರ ಮುಹಿಮ್ಮು ಮಾಲೂಮಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಥಿಯರಿ ತಕುಗೆ ಅದಿಗೆ ಅದಿ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಕುರಿಯ ಗೆಂದಾಣೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಅದಿ ಎಸ್ ಅ ಟೀಚರ್ ಆಮಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಯಾಕೊದ್ದೆ ನಮ್ಗ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಾಫಿ ಅದಿ ಆಣ್ಯತ್ ಅದಿ ಧ್ಯಾನತಿ ಹೇದಕೊದ್ದೆ ವಗುತುಕೊಳಂಗೆ ತೋ ಅಳ್ಗೊಂಡ್ ಉಮ್ಮಿದ್ ಕುರಣಿ ಮಿ ಸೆಷನ್ ಟೀಚರುನ್ನ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಕಿ ನೂಫುಲ್ಲೆ ಬುರೆ ए विष्णु उमा दूरग गोस तिमन्ने वेस कुरेवेण तिमन्न कोम्मेದು ಪುರ ಮಸೆಕತೆಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತುಗ ಫೆನಿಗೆ ತಿಮಣ್ಣ ಕುರಿಮೌಕ ಕುರನ್ ಜೆಹೆ ಕಮೆಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತುಗ ಬಲಾಗಣೆ ತಿಮಣ್ಣ ವೆಸ್ ಮಿ ಕಮುಗೆ ಎಹಿ ಇತರಿ ಕಮ ಐಕೊಂಡೆ ಕುರಿಯ ದಾಣಿ ಏಕ ಸಾಬುನ್ ತಿಮಣ್ಣಗೆ ಮಸೆಕತ ವೆಸ್ ಫಸೆಹವೆಗೆನ್ ದಾಣೆ ಅದಿ ಎಹನ್ ಟೀಚರುಂಗೆ ಮಸೆಕತ ವೆಸ್ ಫಸೆಹವೆಗೆನ್ ಗೊಸ್ ಅದಿ ತಿಮಣ್ಣಗೆ ಮಸಕ್ಕೆ ಏಕನ್ಯ ನೂಣೆ ಕುರಿಯರನ್ ದಾಣಿ ದರಿವರುಂಗೆ ಉಂಗೆನುಮ ಉಂಗಣ್ಣ ಅದಿನುಮ ವೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗೆ ಫೆನಿಗೆನ್ ದಾಣೆ ಹೆವೆಮ ಅಳುಗೊಂಡ್ ಮೆಗೆ ಉಮ್ಮಿದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಿ ವೆಬಿನಾಯಕಿ ತಿಯಬೆಫುಳನ ವರ ಗೀನ ಮೌಲುಮಾತ್ ತಕೆ ಲಿಬಿಗೆನ್ ದಿಯ ಅದಿ ವರ ಬೇಣುಂತರಿ ಮೌಲುಮಾತ್ ತಕೆ ತಿಬೆಫುಣ ಹಿಸ್ಸಾ ಕುರವಣು ವೆಬಿನಾಯಕ ವೆಗೆನ್ ದಿಯ ಕಮೆಂಗೆ ತೋ ವರ ಬಡ ಶುಕ್ರಿಯಾ ಎಂಗೆ ತೋ ಹುರಿ ಹಬೆಫುಣ ವೆಸ್ ಬಾರ್ವೆ ವಡಾಗೆನ್ ದೆವ್ವಿ ತಿವೆ.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks for that. Yeah.